Breaking news, Viking Nation. The first revelation is about to detonate inside US Bank Stadium, and it's spreading shockwaves all the way to Soldier Field, where our Warriors march tomorrow night. 5 earth-shattering updates have emerged in the last 24 hours that could completely redefine everything you thought you knew about this Monday Night Football battle against those Chicago Bears. We're talking about injury chaos that has coaches scrambling, a legendary media personality questioning Kevin O'Connell's sanity, and roster decisions that could make or break J.J. McCarthy's debut under the brightest lights in football. Each of these bombshells carries the power to shift the entire trajectory of our 2025 season. And trust me when I say this, you're not ready for what's coming. The first shock alone has the entire NFL world debating whether the Vikings are geniuses or completely insane, while another story will have you jumping out of your seats realizing we might not be as doomed as everyone thought. If you believe in the purple and gold more than you hate those green and yellow frauds in Green Bay, smash that subscribe button right now, because tonight we're diving deep into the chaos that's brewing in Minneapolis. And listen closely. As shocking as that intro was, the next revelation cuts even deeper into the heart of this franchise, and it's coming from one of the biggest names in sports media. Saturday's final injury report dropped like a nuclear bomb on Viking Nation, and the devastation is absolutely real for Monday night's primetime showdown in Chicago. The Minnesota Vikings released their official injury designations for the Bears game. And folks, this is the kind of news that can make or break a season before it even starts. Christian Darrisaw has been listed as questionable. And with the knee injury that's haunted this franchise since that devastating October night in Los Angeles, while Harrison Smith sits doubtful with the mysterious illness that's kept our defensive quarterback sidelined for over a month now. But here's where it gets even more brutal. 2 players are completely out for Monday night, including backup running back Xavier Scott with an ankle injury and defensive lineman Elijah Williams battling hamstring problems that couldn't heal in time for the season opener. This injury report reads like a horror story for a young quarterback making his first start on the road in prime time against a division rival that's been circling this game on their calendar since the schedule was released. The fact that we're talking about potentially missing both our all-pro left tackle and our veteran safety leader less than 48 hours before kickoff has Kevin O'Connell walking the tightrope between aggressive optimism and brutal reality. But here's the silver lining that has everyone breathing a little easier. Jalen Naylor and Andrew Van Ginkel have been completely removed from the injury report, which means our receiving cores and pass rush just got significantly more dangerous for Monday night. Naylor's recovery from that mid-August hand surgery that had O'Connell describing his status as week to week represents a massive boost for an offense that desperately needs reliable targets behind Justin Jefferson. The fact that Van Ginkel is healthy and ready to terrorize Caleb Williams gives Brian Flores another elite weapon in his defensive arsenal, especially if Harrison Smith can't go, and we need our pass rush to create chaos and confusion in the Bears' backfield. Kevin O'Connell's comments about the injury situation perfectly capture the mixed emotions flowing through Viking Nation right now. We're very proud of our team and the work that we've put into practice for the division road opener. That confidence in the face of uncertainty tells you everything you need to know about this coaching staff's belief in their depth and preparation. But it doesn't change the reality that we're potentially one injury away from complete disaster. The Bears are studying this injury report like it's the blueprint to their season, knowing that catching Minnesota at this vulnerable moment could set the tone for the entire NFC North race and potentially derail the Vikings' championship aspirations before they even get started. Can you imagine if J.J. McCarthy has to make his debut without his blindside protector and his defensive field general watching his back? Chicago's coaching staff is probably drawing up exotic blitz packages and offensive schemes designed to exploit every single weakness on this injury report, turning Monday night into a baptism by fire that could haunt our rookie quarterback for months. But if you think that injury chaos was the most controversial story of the week, the next bombshell involves one of the most powerful voices in sports media, absolutely demolishing Kevin O'Connell's decision-making and questioning whether this entire franchise has lost its mind. Stephen A. Smith has unleashed a brutal attack on the Minnesota Vikings, and his words are cutting so deep that every member of the organization should be feeling the heat right now. The ESPN personality didn't just criticize our roster construction, he completely eviscerated the decision to let Sam Darnold walk away and put the entire 2025 season on the shoulders of J.J. McCarthy without any reasonable backup plan. Stephen A. went straight for the throat when he said, "This is the quarterback whisperer, right? Sam Darnold was playing for you last year. That man threw 35 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, over 4,300 yards. You let him walk out the door. Why did you let him walk out the door? Why didn't you pursue Aaron Rodgers? Because of some rookie from Michigan?" Hey, but he wasn't finished destroying our front office, because his next comment was even more devastating. He was the first top 10 pick quarterback drafted that never threw for 3,000 yards in a season, never rushed for 500 yards in a season. That's never happened before with a top 10 quarterback pick. But that's what we're talking about with J.J. McCarthy. Those words should be echoing through the halls of TCO Performance Center right now, because Stephen A. just articulated what half the NFL world is thinking but afraid to say out loud: that Kevin O'Connell and Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah have made the most reckless gamble in recent franchise history. The fact that we waited until this week to sign Carson Wentz as a backup, while Sam Darnold got a 3-year, $100.5 million deal from Seattle, represents either supreme confidence or complete organizational incompetence. Stephen A. His criticism cuts so deep because it's rooted in statistical reality that's impossible to argue with. Darnold had a career year in O'Connell's system, threw for over 4,300 yards with 35 touchdowns and only 12 interceptions, and then got rewarded with a massive contract from another team while we let him walk away for nothing. The decision to put everything on McCarthy's shoulders without a proven veteran safety net could either prove that our coaching staff are visionary geniuses, or it could expose them as reckless gamblers who destroyed a potential championship window. Stephen A. acknowledged McCarthy's national championship pedigree, but questioned whether college success translates to NFL readiness, especially for a quarterback who's never experienced the speed and complexity of professional football at the highest level. The timing of this criticism couldn't be worse, coming just 48 hours before McCarthy's debut, when the pressure is already at its absolute peak and the margin for error is non-existent. If McCarthy struggles on Monday night and the season starts to crumble, Stephen A.'s words will be replayed endlessly as proof that the warning signs were obvious and the Vikings ignored them at their own peril. But hold on, as shocking as that media assault was, the next revelation is even more explosive, and it involves a story that could completely change how we view our offensive weapons for Monday night. The narrative around our receiving core has been dominated by fear and uncertainty for weeks, but the latest developments suggest that we might not be as doomed as everyone thought. And the reason why is absolutely incredible. The Vikings won't be as short-handed at receiver as everyone feared. And this news is dropping just in time to give J.J. McCarthy the weapons he needs to succeed in his Monday Night Football debut. The panic about our depth behind Justin Jefferson has been building for weeks, especially with Jordan Addison suspended for 3 games and the devastating season-ending injury to Rondale Moore. But Friday's final injury report delivered the kind of relief that has the entire organization breathing easier. Jalen Nailor has no injury designation for Monday night's game, which means his recovery from that mid-August hand surgery is complete, and he's ready to contribute immediately against the Bears defense that's been preparing for a depleted Minnesota receiving core. Kevin O'Connell had described Naylor's status as week to week throughout training camp, but seeing him listed as a full participant in practice all week and completely healthy for the season opener represents a massive boost for an offense that desperately needs reliable targets. The fact that Justin Jefferson's name never appeared on any injury report this week confirms that our superstar receiver has completely recovered from the hamstring issues that limited him throughout training camp and preseason. Jefferson being 100% healthy for McCarthy's debut changes everything about how the Bears will have to approach their defensive game plan, knowing they'll be facing one of the most explosive offensive weapons in the entire NFL at full strength. But here's what makes this receiving situation even better than anyone dared to hope. The addition of Adam Thelen through that blockbuster trade with Carolina gives us a proven veteran who knows O'Connell's system inside and out and has the experience to help guide a rookie quarterback through the most pressure-packed moments. Thelen's familiarity with the offense and his track record of producing in crucial situations means that McCarthy won't be throwing to strangers when he needs to make the biggest throws of his young career. The Bears defense has been preparing all summer to face a weakened Minnesota receiving core, but now they're looking at Jefferson, Naylor, and Thelen as the primary targets, a group that combines elite speed, reliable hands, and veteran savvy in ways that could completely overwhelm Chicago's secondary. The fact that we have 3 healthy, productive receivers for Monday night, when most people expected us to be starting practice squad players and hoping for miracles, represents one of the most positive developments of the entire week. This isn't just about having warm bodies to run routes. We're talking about legitimate NFL talents who can create separation, make contested catches, and help J.J. McCarthy look like the franchise quarterback we drafted him to become. And if you thought that receiving revelation was wild, the story only gets more dramatic from here, because the next chapter involves a debate that's dividing experts across the league and questioning whether our newest addition can truly save the season. But stay with me, because what comes next will have you questioning everything you thought you knew about modern NFL offense and whether experience trumps youth when championships are on the line. The Adam Thelen acquisition has sparked a fascinating debate that goes far beyond just adding another receiver to the roster. It's about whether a 35-year-old veteran can seamlessly integrate into Kevin O'Connell's high-powered offense and provide the kind of immediate impact that could elevate J.J. McCarthy's development during the most crucial stretch of the season. The trade with Carolina brought back a beloved hometown hero. But the real question isn't about sentiment, it's about production, scheme fit, and whether Thelen can handle the physical and mental demands of being a primary target in a system that's evolved significantly since he last wore purple and gold. With Jordan Addison suspended for the first 3 games, Thelen will be thrust directly into the WR2 role, which means he'll be expected to handle significant target volume and make plays in high-pressure situations against defenses that will be keying on his every move. The Vikings offense ranked just 19th in red zone touchdown percentage last season, and Thielen's track record of scoring more touchdowns than Cowboys star CeeDee Lamb since 2020 suggests that his veteran presence could provide exactly the kind of reliable end zone target that this offense has been missing. But here's what makes Thielen's role even more intriguing. Minnesota won't be asking him to carry the same workload that made him a Pro Bowl receiver in his prime, instead focusing on his ability to be a big insurance blanket on 3rd downs and in the red zone, where his route running precision and sure hands can bail out a rookie quarterback when plays break down. The prediction of 52 receptions, 607 yards, and 8 touchdowns might seem modest compared to his peak production, but those numbers would represent exactly the kind of steady, reliable contribution that championship teams need from their supporting cast. O'Connell's offensive system has always emphasized chemistry between quarterback and receivers, and Thielen's familiarity with the concepts and terminology could provide McCarthy with the kind of security blanket that allows young quarterbacks to play with confidence rather than hesitation. The fact that Thelen worked out with McCarthy during previous off seasons as part of the Minnesota-based NFL player workout group means they already have a foundation of timing and trust that could translate immediately to game situations. Critics might question whether Thelen has enough left in the tank to handle the rigors of being a primary target, especially coming off hamstring issues that limited him to just 10 games last season. But his 48 catches for 615 yards in that shortened campaign suggests that his production per game remains at a high level. The Bears defense has been preparing for months to face a Minnesota offense built around Jefferson and Addison. But now they have to account for a completely different dynamic, with Thielen's veteran savvy and red zone expertise creating mismatches that Chicago's secondary might not be equipped to handle. The psychological impact of having Thelen back on purple and gold could be just as important as his on-field contributions, giving the entire offense a boost of confidence and nostalgia that reminds everyone what it feels like when this franchise has all the pieces in place to compete for championships. But just when you think this Viking story couldn't get any more complex, The final revelation involves a truth that every fan needs to understand about the modern NFL and how quickly depth charts can change when injuries and opportunity collide. And listen closely. The next 72 hours might be the most decisive in this franchise's recent history, because everything we've just discussed is building toward a Monday night showdown that will either validate Kevin O'Connell's bold vision or